Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Tom here. If it's your first time here, I am a 22-year expat living in Japan, currently transitioning from part-time to full-time digital nomad, and a lover of all things sci-fi, futurism, and AI. Today, I want to discuss how woke Hollywood and the House of Mouse took all of the movies that I loved as a Gen X kid and turned them into a steaming pile of shit. Even though that's the case, I actually still have hope for the future of movies through emerging AI technologies. So, today's video I want to break into 4 parts. Where are the movies now? Where is the tech now? Where are we going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? And what does this mean for culture coming down the road? So, without further ado, let's get into it. You know, as a kid, there was nothing that made me feel more excited than to hear these few notes. Or these few notes. Or these. Or these few words.
Space, final frontier.
You know, even up till 2019, I would go see the Marvel movies with that childlike anticipation, hoping just to get a little taste of that Natsukashi feeling. But more and more as agenda is put into storytelling and movies, it's kind of destroyed a lot of the magic of what made those movies great in the first place. I could almost respect the agenda if it was genuine, but all you need to do is look at Hollywood movie posters from China, where all of the melatonin-enhanced individuals that maybe are prominent in the Hollywood films are shrunk down or put into the background of those posters. You realize it's just a cash grab. I feel this is the point in the video where I need to make my obligatory middle-aged white guy disclaimer. I have no problem with female leads or leads of different races. Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, The Bride, Clarice Starling, Pam Grier, Jackie Brown, Princess Leia, Blade, Agent J, Black Panther, Jules, Danny Glover in Predator 2, and Django. I have a problem with badly written ones. Anyway, back to the video. Eventually, this woke stuff too will pass like any other exploitive or cash grab movie fads from the past. Think 70s blaxploitation films.
Superfly. When it comes to women, they come to him.
80s karate movies. But what are we going to be left with in the wake of wokeism? Just a sea of regret of all of the good movies that could have been made. But what if that's not the end of the story? What if there's still a way that we could see all of those movies that have never been made? Almost like an alternate universe. Think The Portal and The Man in the High Castle. Well, fear not, my friends. Well, we've come a long way since The Lawnmower Man came out 32 years ago. And even in the last 5 years, AI technology for video has jumped exponentially compared to the 25 years before it. Oh, Will Smith, you silly bastard. Here's part of a trailer for a full-length AI movie that came out recently. Again, not perfect, but you could definitely see where the technology is starting to head.
So, Claire, what's your stop?
The City of Lights. I'm hoping it's a new start.
I don't think we have to pray for long.
Another thing that's already started happening is actors selling the rights to their likenesses, so that future movies can still use their image or voices even after their deaths. Bruce Willis and James Earl Jones have both sold their likeness rights. Side note, I think honoring James Earl Jones' passing by making him the voice of Darth Vader in perpetuity is very cool. Die Hard 27? Not so much. There's already been litigated cases of identity theft using AI with people's images and voices. And if you don't think Hollywood has already stood up and taken notice of what's coming down the pike, well, you'd be wrong.
Hi, Fran. I just had the privilege of signing 2 bills. We talk about California being a state of dreamers and doers. A lot of dreamers come to California, but sometimes they're not well represented. And with SAG and this bill I just signed, we're making sure that no one turns over their name, image, and likeness to unscrupulous people without representation or union advocacy.
Compensation, yeah. You know, Governor, this is really a momentous experience because we worked so hard in our TV theatrical contract negotiation and subsequent strike, and to have now the state of California and your support in making sure that we are protected with our likeness and everything. It just means the world, and I think that it actually impacts the world. Your actions today are going to speak to people all over the world that are feeling threatened by AI, and even though there are smart people that come up with these inventions, I don't think that they think it all the way through of what will happen when humans don't have a place to make a living and continue to feed their families.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what it looks like when two people have their fingers and their toes in a dam that is about to break. Right now, the main concern seems to be actors. But I think going forward, AI could be seen as an existential threat to Hollywood itself. Another example of trying to litigate technology would be in the late 90s and early 2000s, when people were stealing music off of the internet. They made laws to try and prevent it, but as everyone knows these days, if you look hard enough, you could pretty much find any music or movie online for free. Another example from Hollywood is when silent films went into talkies. A lot of those silent film actors just couldn't make the jump into talkies, and as such, lost their careers. So, what does this AI look like in 5 to 10 years that's already frightening Hollywood? Well, imagine photorealistically being able to create anything, or have it created for you by a personal AI that knows you better than you know yourself. You will literally be able to create anything on demand. Maybe, for example, you want to see that version of Star Trek that Quentin Tarantino was thinking of directing, but never did. Done.
Their mission: to boldly go where no man has gone before. But outer space has other plans. And now, their mission has changed.
There's just one thing I want.
Revenge, Captain?
Why not?
Introducing the 9th film by Quentin Tarantino.
What were your orders, Kirk? To start a war? You've succeeded!
They meant to bring peace to the galaxy.
This will be your final battlefield!
They brought their pieces instead. It's a galaxy of green blood, green women, and Nazis.
Or you want to see the next generation Trek characters of the original series. Done. Or vice versa. Done. Or do you love Magnum P.I. and you've always wanted to see Tom Selleck in a live-action He-Man movie? Done. Or a live-action G.I. Joe movie that takes place in the 1980s? Done. Or an 80s version of The Avengers? Done. Or maybe you're a super lefty progressive that loves Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, Leonardo DiCaprio, Keanu Reeves, Angelina Jolie, and Brad Pitt. But they are simply not diverse enough for you. Well, done, 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 done. Or maybe you want to be the star of your own film. I think today I want to be Captain Jack Sparrow.
I understand everything.
No. I want to be in The Gladiator. I want to be a young Indiana Jones. I want to be in a 1940s version of H.G. Wells' Time Machine. I want to be a samurai. I want to be an ass-kicking tough guy. Actually, I want to fall in love with myself in a multiversal rom-com. And I will finally get my Star Wars episodes 7, 8, and 9 written and directed by Lucas. Well, maybe not directed by Lucas. On the flip side, this doesn't even cover all of the less than legal things that are going to emerge from the dark AI web. Every time new technology emerges, there's always evil geniuses that want to use that technology to make a quick buck or just to spread chaos. A perfect example of that we're going to experience in our own lives? Deepfakes. An interesting argument made by a few prominent futurists is that due to deepfakes, we'll reach a tipping point where we as a society won't be able to believe anything with our own eyes. This will require a complete paradigm shift in how we evaluate truthfulness with anything in society. They further argue that we might be required to have some sort of public or private organization that'll be used to authenticate video or audio before they're seen as valid. Almost like how the major news networks were seen as unbiased in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, deepfakes may require that we have some sort of outlet that's monitored by all parties in order for them to be seen as the least biased. Another big cultural change will be the one that Hollywood fears the most: the death of traditional celebrity, and thereby the death of Hollywood as we know it. When I was a kid, you used to just go to the movies to see that actor in whatever movie they were in. Well, regrettably, those days are gone. Fame and celebrity have already been completely changed by technology. Whereas celebrities were once seen, maybe through the 1930s to the 1990s, as almost royalty or untouchable, these days celebrities, you can hear every dim-witted thought that they have play out in real time on X. I'm looking at you, Kanye.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also.
If I had to pick, I might say Tom Cruise.
I know. Have you ever felt this way before?
For all of his weirdness. Maybe the last star in the traditional sense. And finally, and probably most significantly, how AI movies are going to affect us is to move our culture into an even deeper sense of tribalism. We all heard in the 1990s how the internet was going to bring all of humanity together. But if the current US election cycle is any indication, we can all see how well that went. To some degree, all human beings have always lived in their own realities by the stories they tell themselves. They believe that their stories are the truth with a capital T. For example, the Christians, that believe they talk to a sky god that has a long white beard.
Oh, don't grovel. One thing I can't stand, it's people groveling.
Sorry.
And don't apologize. Every time I try to talk to someone, it's sorry this and forgive me that and I'm not worthy.
Or the progressives, who think that sex and gender are just mind constructs, and that biology is only relevant to lower life forms. I joke, but I'm honestly not here to judge, just to point out that this has always been part of the human condition. What is going to change in the coming decades is we as individuals and groups are going to be able to externalize all of those capital T truth stories that before were only in our heads. As virtual reality, augmented reality, AI TV movies, and video games all synthesize into one thing, we will be able to literally create our own worlds. Imagine the Christian, walking around in augmented reality, able to see all of the other saved, God-fearing Christians with golden halos over their heads, and video game-like meters that show the virtuous acts committed that week. Or the progressive in augmented reality, who can see who is an ally and who is a capitalist fascist pig dog, also with a video game-like meter stating each person's privilege points and access to the nearest safe space. Well, in this future, we are all quite literally going to have our own safe spaces. Each person is going to be the lead character in their own movie/video game of life. Saying to someone, "Welcome to my world," is quite literally going to take on a whole new meaning. The implications of this, good and bad, could definitely take up a whole nother video, and this one has gone on long enough, so I will leave that for another time. But I'll leave you with one final thought. As all of this becomes more and more real, it reminds me of an idea that's related to the First Amendment. You've probably heard the saying, "I don't have to agree with what you say in order to defend your right to say it." Well, in the hopes of a more positive future that definitely has the possibility of being more acrimonious, I would change it to, "I don't have to believe in what you've created to vehemently defend your right to happily exist within it, as long as it doesn't hurt others, and most importantly, doesn't encroach on my own little slice of created heaven." All right, guys, that's all I've got for today. Thanks very much. It was a long one, so thanks for everyone who made it to the end. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Later. Yo, guys, thanks again for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, I think you know what to do down below. If you're interested in finding me on the internet, all of those links are down below as well. And if you're interested in knowing what's going to happen with Gen X and the 21st century, you can find that link right here.